This game is basically like every other Far Cry they've ever made. Almost finished, and bam. Okay, let's do this.
Getting a better angle.
This is sure to get his attention.
Jesus Christ!
This is Far Cry 5 in a nutshell.
What are you even trying for, sinner?
Fuck, I was supposed to save him. Who killed Hannibal? Here we go. Oh shit, bad guy. Okay, pay attention right now because I'm about to show you some pro strats in Far Cry 5. Oh fuck!
It's burning, baby!
Oh shit, there's a sniper. Wait a second. Sir, how rude. Alright, let's get out of here, guys. Guys, watch out for that dog. Guys, watch out for that human. Guys, watch out for that gas station. Pretty sure this explodes. I'm a piece of shit. Okay, so listen up so I can tell you about Far Cry 5. All this game is basically Far Cry 2018. And I can't even say it's an improvement on the others, because it's just different. And it's exactly what you would expect, just in a new setting, right? Every Far Cry game is basically the same. It's you plus bad guy plus bad guy's minions plus a bunch of nonsense equals Far Cry 5. And I mean, at this point, it's just a straight up copy-paste formula, which sucks so much of the life away from the game, especially if you've played all the other ones just like me. So I'm just going to be straight with it. This game is a half-assed cash grab. Yes, at its core. I never want to discredit people for their ideas and efforts and what they do to create a video game or anything for that matter. But you always have to ask yourself, before anything, was this game made to make money? Or was this game made to express creativity? Right? In 2018, 7 out of 10 games are cash grabs. And unfortunately, that sucks, and this game is no exception to that. The game, Far Cry 5, is fun at first, but the excitement and your engagement with it quickly disappears. And you start to ask yourself, why is this? Why is it that I'm not caring so much? And in this context, when you basically already know how a game will run, and in this case, how this game is going to, play out, you immediately lose that fun and exploration factor because it's basically something you've already done in a new setting. So the game has a single player co-op open world campaign, and then there's the Far Cry Arcade, which is the multiplayer mode. And the main game, which is the open world, is set in the fictional Hope County, Montana, and it is super beautiful. No doubt about that. There are so many moments when you're just sitting there and you're just soaking in the atmosphere because it's so awesome. And there's a lot to do in the world, and there's all kinds of really random things happening, and there's all kinds of activities. But here's the thing though. If you're an intelligent gamer and you're not mindlessly playing video games, you will come to see immediately that there are problems that rise to the surface that ultimately shorten this game's playtime indefinitely. And yes, just like every other Far Cry, This game has crafting and has, buffs to your character that you use, and a bunch of guns and a bunch of vehicles and cosmetics and weird side quests and fetch quests galore and side activities like fishing and racing, and the world is just crammed with a bunch of shit to feel like there's a lot to do. But it's boring. And I can sum it up like this. If you bake a vanilla cake and then decorate the shit out of it on the outside with different kinds of frostings and fruits and flavors and sprinkles and whatever else you put on the damn cake to make it pretty, that's like Far Cry 5. It's still a vanilla cake, but when you're looking at it, it looks a lot tastier than what it really is. Analogy set aside, let me bottom line myself here. This game at its core is superficial fun. The story, while aesthetically pleasing and interesting at times, is just not engaging, and you really don't care. What makes a good game is when you're really invested in what's happening. And in this game, you're just kind of riding around killing things, blowing things up, doing things for people, and you never really care about it. So when you don't care, it's not very fun. It's not as fun as it could be, as things should be. They just feel like tasks that you're doing. And I'm going to sum up the cons into 3 points. And the first one is the sense of progression in this game is broken. The journey one takes from point A to point B is the part that we as gamers look forward to. Growing and evolving is what we really value, and that is expressed in video games really profoundly, and you can see it everywhere. But here, you are a no-name male or female, whoever you choose, just kind of caught up in this world that's happening, and you're referred to as deputy the entire time. So right off the bat, there's like no attachment to this character. And in the beginning, when you're just starting off, it is challenging, but I mean this when I say it. You get so OP so fast. You get access to things that just make you so freaking OP. All the explosive stuff stop all the vehicles in this game. And once you get access to a helicopter, and you can get access to one really quickly, they're just completely unstoppable. There's almost like nothing in this game that can actually stop you. It's just ridiculous, because if you wanted to, you could just save up all your money and then buy a helicopter right off the bat, and then fly to every single outpost and just destroy everything and defeat the game in like one day. You could do that. That's exactly what I'm saying here. The guns that you also get, the small arms, are so strong. And the enemies, even on the hard difficulty, are so easy. The AI in this game is like laughably horrible, and that's not a good thing. Both enemy and allied AIs act just so ridiculous in this game. And here's the worst part, right? On top of being overpowered, on top of the downright stupid AI at times, and on top of the lack of challenge despite being on the hardest difficulty, this next part is by far the worst thing. As you progress forward and capture more territory by fighting back the cult that has taken over the county, you actually make the game less enjoyable. Seriously, let me explain. Once you take out the outposts that are littered across the entire map in different areas, and you destroy them and you wipe out all the enemies in the cult will no longer appear in those areas of the game. They will no longer be there. They just don't exist anymore. Meaning you can go through whole chunks of the map and not get attacked because you technically own the territory. This is legitimately game breaking. There is like no incentive to progress because of this. It makes it so boring when there are no longer enemies to fight in huge sections of the map because you've cleared all of the outposts in the area. And it's like, sure, there are a few like little groups here and there, but they're so few in number that it's like pointless because you're so OP anyways, and you just ram through them super quickly. But when you still have a bunch of side quests and collectibles to get in the huge areas where you've already destroyed all the outposts and there's no enemies, it's so boring. You think you're like, why am I doing this? What's the incentive? So, just for one example, in one of the areas I had already cleared, I was doing a quest where I had to collect a bunch of records and bring them back, and I would get the songs added to the radio in that area. But it's like, if I already destroyed all the outposts and I no longer have people to fight here, then what's the point of being in this area? And it's like, so I'm collecting songs for the radio stations of an area that I'm not even going to be in? Like, why? That's not fun and enjoying. And you literally think to yourself, I don't want to destroy any more outposts because then the enemies won't spawn anymore. It's like you're ruining the game for yourself because as you're getting even more OP, it's like you're fighting less and less people. Exactly. See what I'm saying? It's backwards. You have at all times like dynamite, remote explosives, grenades, molotovs. You could have 3 of each of these things, so you can just sit there and continuously chuck shit and destroy everything. And it's like, you're too OP. You have too much. The game is too easy. It's not fun. So number 2, like I said before, is this game is just not inspiring. It's basic. I don't even want to talk about the story because it's basically kill the bad guys or they'll kill you. Kill all the bad guys' minions, the end. Only, at first, it's easy to get immersed in the story because you see so much potential. Oh shit, hold on. Watch out! Come get some! Not today, dude! Dimitri, I am scared! Take cover! Jim, it's all up to you now. Da, comrade. Wait, what? Oh no, that's cool. But then it just kind of falls off a fucking cliff. There is fun moments to be had for sure, but this game is copy-paste 5. You've already done everything, all these things in other games, and honestly, a lot of times they've been better. A lot of the side quests just feel so empty as you're wandering around doing things just because you're told to, right? There's no, you don't feel like you want to do these things, you just want to have a sense of completion. That's what it is. It's like, the experience that is fun and enjoying is in being super engaged in what you're doing, not just doing it because it's something you have to do. That's not why we play video games. And that shouldn't be why you play video games. The initial exploration of things and the excitement wears off quickly. In fact, this game has downgraded in so many areas. For example, in past Far Cry games, healing animations were unique depending on the situation you were in and the game that you were playing. Right? Like if you were bit by a shark in Far Cry 3 and you were swimming in water, you would like pull the tooth out of your hand or your arm, and it was gruesome and visceral and awesome and it felt immersive, right? Or like when something would explode around you, you would like rip a piece of wood out of your arm from shrapnel, or you would like get your knife and pull bullets out of stuff. It was just gross, and that kind of thing really takes games to the next level. And why would you get rid of that and copy paste 5? You see what I'm saying? If you fell from a certain height in past games, right, you would like break your arm or you break your leg and you would like have to fix it into place, right? Now the healing animation is just wrapping a freaking bandage around you. It's like you picked the most boring thing for literally everything. These kinds of small details is what really brings your game to life. And I've played co-op with the open world open world campaign several times, and it did make the experience better, as does any other game really. But copy paste 5 is just, it feels so lacking. And here's the third but the biggest problem really. The multiplayer just feels so tacked on. The Far Cry arcade. What the fuck, man? Someone here had amazing intentions, but the current execution is just bare bones and not finished. Basically, they're trying to make a watered down version of the old Halo multiplayers with Forge, custom maps and all those kinds of things. But there's basically 2 game modes with free-for-all and team deathmatch. And the maps you play are either Ubisoft or user-created maps. And this idea inherently isn't bad, but the current execution is terrible. And because there's user-created maps, that they've added a map editor into the game, which is phenomenal. This is by far the best thing about the game, is the map editor. You can create some amazing looking stuff, right? There's so much potential and there's so much fun in being able to creatively express yourself in a simple to use tool to create a map. Just check out what I made here. The first time I got into this, I spent 6 hours straight making a map to play online, and here it is. When I was finally finished with this, that's when I noticed the stupidity of the multiplayer. They did not flesh out this idea all the way. You kind of just slapped into a lobby. It's usually already going, and you get put into a game, and it's like 6v6, and only 5 people get to pick the maps each round, and the whole system is unintuitive because it's like you get a list of like the most popular maps basically, and it's rare for you to get to play your own map unless you have like 3 or 4 friends in the same lobby. One of you gets chosen to pick a map, and then you have to go and make sure that you already had favorited that map, and then you change your filter, go to your favorites, select that map. Hopefully you select it on time. It takes you through a bunch of stupid menus, and it's like it doesn't flow at all. It's weird. But then once you start playing, you think, okay, well, this is gonna be cool, and then online is like weirdly laggy. It's clunky. The game is like, it's not, the FPS is slower, and it's really awkward, and the controls feel weird, and the time to kill is weird, and when you're playing it, you know exactly what I mean. And there aren't even custom maps unless you have like 6 people, and it's like, what's the point at that point? Right? And the other maps you play, you may or may not even, that you play online, may not even be fun or finished, right? If you publish it and it's stupid, that it's like you could still play those maps. And people pick the same damn maps every single time, the super most popular ones, but they're not even that fun. You know, you have to take a step back and you have to really think, what am I doing? Why am I giving myself an exercise in frustration? It's not even worth playing. You could go literally play any other multiplayer game that's out right now and have so much more fun. Oh, I don't know, Overwatch, Rainbow Six Siege, Fortnite, anything. You could play anything else. And not waste your time on this basic copy-paste 5 multiplayer. It's just not inspiring. So now we are here, and Copy Paste 5 is an interesting and engaging at first single-player co-op open-world adventure, but quickly drops in fun, honestly. And it also has a super lackluster multiplayer with a 10 out of 10 map editor that I spent more time using than the actual multiplayer. It was just so fun. And there's definitely a fun time to be had here, but it's so short-lived. And then you're sitting there with your friends a week or 2 later thinking, okay, I spent $60 on this, but what other games can I play now? Far Cry 5 is sadly forgettable. And there's so much potential here, and you can tell so many people put a lot of work in many parts of this game. And it always makes me so sad when I see great potential not fully realized. The setting isn't the problem. The characters aren't the problem. It's just how you approach the creation of your game. Come up with something new. I'll give you a whole list right now to get started. First of all, fix your damn AI. Create a new base game. Innovate. Don't be like Call of Duty. Only young kids play Call of Duty now. And don't worry, you can still create a new game and still have the same Far Cry feel. The best direction for Far Cry is to scale down. Make your game super immersive. Add dynamic game modifiers like fatigue and sickness and cool things like that engage you. Add as many healing animations as possible. That shit is so awesome. Make the game more challenging. Make ammo really count. Make all your moves count. Make you think about what you're really going to do instead of just walking around either stealth or Rambo killing everything. Add different weathers and that have effect on the game. That would be so cool. Make your every moment engaging, not by just blowing shit up, but by caring about your character and the survivability. And if you're gonna add multiplayer, make sure it's flushed out correctly. Your game would definitely increase in longevity if you do all these things. That's what you want, trust me. This is a good starting point. They just need to change it up. But its conception and realization now is just meh. I've done this before. You've done it before. You know what this kind of feels like a bit? You know how with each Saints Row game that they released, they got more and more ridiculous? Like you started out from number 1 in street gangs, and then at number 5 you're like the president of the United States fighting aliens. Far Cry needs to take a step back and scale down and focus on what's most important. True gaming immersion. Be more like Far Cry 2 basically. Overall, this game gets a 5 out of 10. Very average. It doesn't suck, but so many improvements can be made. But before I leave Hope County for good, Jim and I have one more mission before we get out of here. Let's go, Jim. All right, there's the target. Stand by for Titanfall. Move! Redo. Alright, there's the target. Sacrifices must be made, Jim. He will not be forgotten. How? You know what? Whatever. Let's go. Why does this never work? Shit, flamethrower guy, my arch nemesis. Jim, buddy, I need your help, man. God damn it. On your feet, soldier! How do I turn this shit off? There we go. God damn it. Jim, I need you. Thanks, friend. Incoming! That's it. Now you're really gonna get it. How you doing? I'll take you all on. Shit, he's impervious to shovels. You can handle my shovels, but you can't handle my bat, bitch. Can I use a real gun now? There's too many of them. Must find shelter. I don't think I'm gonna make it out of here. Jim, stay right there. I know it hurts. Shit, flame dart! I'm sorry for dragging you in this, Jim. Fuck. Alright, I'm gonna go play some Overwatch now. Thank you so much for watching. I'm just starting out this YouTube channel, and if you like my content, go ahead and subscribe to show me you want more. Peace.